Hi and welcome to Data Garden. Thanks for checking out my video. I hope you're doing very well. Today's video is the start of a little new series that I want to do on the Dplyr package. The Dplyr package is part of the tidyverse, and it's a very popular package among many R users for the reason that it makes data handling, data cleaning, data manipulation tasks much easier and more convenient than what you could do with base R, where you have to use all these square brackets, have to type the same things over and over again. I think there's good reason why a lot of people don't like it. Now, if you want to get started using the tidyverse and the Dplyr package, then I suggest the first thing that you learn is how to use the pipe operator quite well. You have to familiarize yourself with it, because basically Dplyr uses its own sort of syntax, and knowing how to use it will be quite a benefit to you. So let's get started by loading the Dplyr package. If you don't have it installed yet, then you can type install.packages, opening bracket, and in quotation marks Dplyr. But I already have the package installed, so I'm going to skip on that one and just load library Dplyr, press Command and Enter. Now you might get a message here that some of the command names from the base R package are now overwritten by Dplyr commands. But don't worry about it. You just have to be aware that from now on you will be accessing Dplyr commands in case there is a base command with the same name. Now the dataset that we want to use for this is iris dataset. So let's load data, opening bracket, iris, and run the command, and there it is in our environment. And let's say we want to view the dataset, so we type view, opening bracket, iris, normally, right? And we can also run this, and there we see it. But if we use the Dplyr syntax, we're going to do it a bit differently, and that will be we start with iris, and in general we would always start our chain of commands with the original input data, and we type % greater %, like this. You also see that it's in gray color to indicate that it's an operator. And we type a new line, let's say, and type view, opening bracket, closing bracket. View always with capital V, by the way, which is a bit uncommon for the R syntax. Press run, and there we see we get the same as with the regular view command. Now, looking at this, you might wonder, what is this guy talking about? How is this any simpler with 2 lines of code than just using 1 line of code? But I think you will find with a slightly more complicated chain of commands why it is indeed helpful. But before we go into that, let's look what we have done here. The first thing you notice is that the view command is empty. There's nothing in it, and that's because this operator supplies the view command with its input. In this case, the view command would have only had 1 argument, right, which is view, and then we supply the data, which is iris. What this operator does is that you can leave the first argument, the data supply, empty, and it will be taken from the output of the previous command. Now in this case, iris has as the output itself, so the output of iris will be taken as the input for the next command, particularly for the first argument of the next command. That is why we can leave this here empty. Now let's say we want to make it a bit more complicated, and let's say we want to take only some rows and some columns of the iris dataset. So let's type again iris, and then the pipe operator with % greater %. Create a new line, and let's say we want to filter only the species that is Virginica. So I'm going to copy that here because it's a bit difficult to type. So let's say type filter, because filter is the Dplyr command that selects rows and then opening bracket. And you see here that it suggests that we input a data, but we're not going to do it. We're going to start right with selecting what we want to have. And that will be species equal, and then in quotation marks, I'm going to press Command and V to paste. And we see we want to filter only species that is equal to Virginica. And then let's say we want to have only the columns, let's say petal length and petal width, which coincidentally, or rather let's say we want sepal length, sepal width and species, which coincidentally all happen to start with an S. So we're going to create a new line. Oh, sorry, we have to do the pipe operator, of course, with % greater % in the end of this. Create a new line. And let's type select, which is the Dplyr command for selecting columns. So that will be starts underscore with, and then let's say we want all the columns that start with an S, which is a bit of a random selection, but in this case it works. And then let's type % greater % and view again. And let's run this. And we see indeed we have only the 50 entries that have the species Virginica and only the 3 columns that we have selected. Now let's look again a little bit into what we have done here. For all of these 3 commands, there is one thing missing, which is the input. Normally, if you would do this thing with base R, you would start by like doing this, iris, and then you would define it as filter iris, comma, species equal Virginica, and then you would do the same thing again, iris, select, and then you would define again iris, comma, and then you do the selection, and so on. Now in this case, you only have to define the data once, and you never have to overwrite it. You can get it from here to here with all the manipulation in between, without a single override, and without defining 3 times the same thing, which is what we would have to do here. Every time again we have to define what is our data, our input data and our output name. And here we can save ourselves all of this, because the operator always supplies the output of the previous command as the input to the next command. So let's take these 2 steps as examples. The input to this filter command is the iris data set. The output of the filter command is only 50 rows of the filter data set, which where this criterion is true. Now this output is taken by the operator here and is taken as an input, first argument, to the select command. So instead of typing here data equals iris where the filter is true, we can leave the data command empty and just start with the selection. And then again, this the output from the selection is taken as an input data for view. So that is how you use the pipe operator. Always remember it's about the first argument. You pipe the output here as the first argument of the next command. So I hope that my explanations have been helpful for you. If they have, then please give this video a like. And if you want to see more about Dplyr and the tidyverse, then also consider subscribing to the channel, because I have some more videos coming up very soon. If you have any questions or suggestions, then leave them down below in the comments and I will make sure to have a look at them. And otherwise, there's nothing left for me than to hope that you liked the video and wish you a great day. Have a great time. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.